Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for a new job or want a career change? Look no further than Monster.com. Need a little help standing out? Our expert resume writing services will make sure you shine. Want to brush up on your interview skills? Engage with our AI interview prep tool. Want some advice on negotiating your new salary? Visit our salary tools and extensive library of career advice articles, and you'll have all the tips and tricks you'll need to succeed. Visit Monster.com today and take the first step towards your career. Monster.com. Find your right job fit.
If you're looking to streamline your audio advertising buys and maximize your revenue, look no further than Triton Digital's programmatic audio advertising exchange, A2X. The private exchange consists of only licensed broadcasters and top-tier internet radio publishers, assuring the quality inventory and brand safety you can trust. Visit www.tritondigital.com to learn more.
You're all jazzed up, nearly having a cow. You want your favorite show, and it's on right now. It's on brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa. Jon, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Are you sure? You seem a little down.
No, I wouldn't say that I'm down. I mean, I guess I would say maybe I'm a little surprised at how the last week has unfolded.
What do you mean? What happened? Something like in your personal life, or?
You know what I'm talking about. Huntsboy. I'm talking about Huntsboy. I'm talking about how I now have people I work with telling me that they've changed my name to Huntsboy on my contact on their phone. We have our friend, Uber fan Shepard, making photos of me as a slash between Bob's Big Boy and Huntsboy. And it's just a little more than I was expecting. And I won't harp on this. This is not an episode about hunts. We will get to an episode that I'm very excited about, Fisher-Price. But I just want to, one more time, you should see, I literally lost my mind the day after because like 3 people within an hour were like, hey, hunts, or just sending me hunts things. So I like recorded this whole thing, like a voice memo to send to them. And then Shepard was like, oh, wow, I feel like I'm getting like bonus content from the podcast. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I will either get to a point where I accept that I'm a Hunts boy, or deep down I will always know that I'm a Heinz king, maybe.
Heinz?
Heinz? Heinz. I say it wrong. Heinz.
Jon, I have a return that I'm considering, and I want your input.
Okay.
If it's egregious or not.
Okay.
Children's inflatable swimming pool, mystery hole, cannot find to patch. Pool deflates faster than expected.
I think you should return it, and you should explain it exactly like that when you go into the store, because they will definitely accept the return to get you out of there as fast as they can.
It's a rough one because it's covered in grass clippings and it'll always be a little wet, and I have to like get all the air out and then fold it back up into the tiny box. And it's from Target, which I know they're good about returns.
Is it within the 190 days?
Oh, it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And out of box, it was not staying inflated to my expectation. And some people, honestly, in the reviews had the same comment. I should have been a little warned.
If it makes you feel better, I will share with you probably my most embarrassing return.
Okay, great. Lay it on me.
It was to Costco. I had a membership that I shared with someone for a short time at Costco, and I didn't know going into that relationship that Costco is incredibly liberal with their returns. And someone had gotten me a succulent wreath from Costco, which I loved, and I babied, and I took care of it. It was gorgeous. but they're a lot of work. And I don't think succulents are meant to be on a wreath. I think it can only live so long. And I'd let it die. I mean, and when I say I let it die, it died. It was just like, it looked like it was scorched. Like it was just all brown. It went through 2 months of summer. It was just a dead ring. But I never threw away the cardboard box that came in. It was in the carport. And I literally put that dead ring back in the box.
Oh, God.
When I was not scared to do it, but I was actually a little embarrassed for her to open the box. I took it and she opened the box and I was like, I just don't have a green thumb. And she opened the box and it's like a corpse. And she was literally like, no problem, and gave me my money back. So
I'm imagining the crypt keeper, but in succulent form.
Yeah, basically. So if it's a Target, if it's a Costco, if it's a Walmart, if it's an Amazon, I just take it back.
I will say I have another embarrassing Costco return.
Okay.
Which now that I'm thinking about it, it's the same theme. So when I first moved to LA, I slept on an air mattress for like 2 years. An air mattress I got from Costco. And air mattresses they're not intended for like daily use. It's kind of like their lifespan will be over the course of just occasional out-of-town guests.
Right. In a year, it gets used maybe 10 times.
This is 365 days a year. I'm sleeping on an air mattress. And after 2 years, you would wake up in the morning and it would be a little deflated. I'm seeing a theme here. It'd be a little deflated. And then eventually I'm sleeping on it. I'm waking up and my butt's on the floor. So I returned it to Costco after 2 years of sleeping on it every single night. And I walked away cash in hand.
And they didn't question it, right?
No questions asked.
I love Costco for that reason. It is so liberating. I bought my headphones there knowing that I may need to return them way past a normal place taking them back.
Yeah, you made fun of me because I bought AirPods. Are they called AirBuds?
Yes.
AirBuds?
AirPods.
No,
AirBuds.
AirBud is the dog.
AirBud is the movie.
The dog who plays basketball.
You bought AirBud at Costco?
You made fun of me because I was like, I drove to the Apple store to get AirPods for David's birthday. And you were like, you bought those at the Apple store? Like you can get those anywhere. And I was waiting in line at the Apple store. I went to 2 Apple stores to find them in stock. And you were...
Well, you go to Costco, one, because they do put them on sale, which Apple never does.
Yeah,
and you can return them 2 years later. If you lose an AirBud, I think you can AirPod. Hopefully no one will ever lose AirBud.
I'm sure AirBud is still living and well.
Yeah.
That movie that came out 13 years ago.
Well, it feels good to laugh. I think I can maybe put, as long as no one sends me anything this week about being a hunts boy, I think I can maybe start to put it behind me. And maybe we can move forward into episode 4 of On Brand.
I hope so. So let's get into it. What are we talking today?
So we are doing a brand that I am very excited about. It's another, what we would call legacy brand. It's been around for, I think, a little over 90 years. It is Fisher-Price. Iconic, historic, part of most people's childhood, definitely a part of my childhood. I picked this brand because a lot of the toys I had as a child were Fisher-Price. And then as I got older and started collecting things, that was something that I kind of went back to because I really like just how simple they are and the designs of them. And toys now are, so complicated and weird. And it was something that my mom enjoyed buying us as children. And then as I got older, she liked looking for them for me in thrift stores. So she would go out and be on a mission and she would come across a stapled bag of like 50 Little People Fisher-Price toys and call me so excited. And then I would see them when I went home. And it's a very special brand to me.
That's so cute. Yeah.
Do you have any connection to it?
I love Fisher-Price, and I definitely had the Little People growing up. I'm thinking of, there was a barn, right? There was a barn, like a plastic barn. And did it close? Like it had like latches?
Yep. And when you open the door, it mooed like a cow. So they were always, that's the other thing about them. They were always doing this like simplest little touches, but really sweet little touches in them.
And they've aged really well. I mean, you have a big pile of Little People, and I see a pig, I see a little suitcase.
Yeah, this is kind of the suitcase is from you wouldn't know, it's from the Jet Set.
A plastic airplane.
Set. Yep, the big
I
plastic
had a
airplane.
big plastic airplane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I have one of those in my mom's basement.
It's probably in my mom's garage as we speak.
And I think what I like about them is the older ones, they're similar like to Legos to me, where before Legos now and little people now are so different, because like Legos were usually just squares and you had to use your imagination to create whatever you're going to create with them. Now they've kind of taken some of the imagination away from what children have to do. They kind of mold it to be exactly what they want it to be. Same with little people. Little people, it's almost, and I don't like this comparison, but I'll put it out there. It's almost like Funko Pop, where the basic body is the same on all of them, but they change like the face and stuff.
We don't love
Funko Pop. I won't say I hate them, because they may want to do a collab. They may want to make a Jon and Marisa Funko Pop at some point, like number 840 or whatever they do. And we're totally on board with that. But I just like the simplicity of these toys.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're stunning. So when you were younger, what drew you to these as a kid?
I don't think that it was that I was drawn to them. It's just what I was given, you know? So like on Christmas, like one of the big sets I remember having was the Main Street set. And it was incredible. And if anyone remembers this, it was humongous. It was like two big pieces of the Main Street, and they were connected by a bridge that had a stoplight in it. And you put that in, and it would connect all three pieces. And then when you were done, you could fold them together and had a little handle on top. So it was like a briefcase. So you could put all the people and all the cars and stuff in it, close it up. And as a kid, you've got your entire world that you carry around with you. You can take it outside and sit outside and drive the cars around over the hills. And it was fun. It gave kids not only the ability to use their imagination and like create these worlds, but to do it wherever they wanted to and kind of just be in their own little thing.
And you were a boy on the go, so that was good for you.
I was. I know you're probably saying that as a joke, but I was a boy on the go.
Where'd you go?
Well, I grew up in a time when, like, in the summer, I had lived on a street where there was a bunch of kids the same age. So we would get up, we would go outside, and we would just be gone for the day. Behind our house were these woods, and so we would all go into the woods. In the middle of the woods, there was this little clearing with like these little hills, and we would sit there and we'd sit in a circle and meet. And we would meet about different things. Like at one point, we were doing like a neighborhood newspaper, so we would have newspaper meetings in the back of the woods, and everyone would get like a different writing assignment. And I remember one time I had my mom and my brother were doing like a 5K walk or something. So I was like, I've got a scoop for the newspaper. I'm going to write about my mom and my brother's walk. So I write this story about them, and I didn't know what a 5K was. I put that they were walking like 50 miles or 500 miles or something. And that went in the paper. And then we walked around the neighborhood and passed them all out. And then my mom saw it, and she's like, we're not walking that far. It's only 5K. And so I wrote a little retraction on like 3x5 cards. And I was like, I'd like to correct this from the newspaper. My mom and brother only walking 5K. And I walked around and passed those all out to everybody.
That's absolutely darling. God, kids these days are just absolutely beyond screwed.
I don't even know what kids. You have kids. I mean...
They're not wandering the streets peddling their newspapers. But that's how I grew up too. I mean, it was a different time. You went out, you went out and you came back when the street lights went on. That was how kids used to live.
Yeah, we literally would come home when our parents just started yelling our names.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
And I'm looking at these toys and I can just tell the quality of everything just used to be better. I mean, I don't know if the Cracker Jack thing is just like the obvious comparison. You remember when like toys and Cracker Jack boxes were like real toys?
I hate that I didn't live in a time period where Cracker Jacks had like the real little metal toys that you get.
Oh, they used to be metal, yeah.
They used to be metal. By the time I was a kid, I think you still got a toy, but it was plastic. And I don't know if you've seen one now.
It's pathetic.
It's just a piece of paper. Like it's always like it's either like a tattoo.
Not even that. It'll just be like a piece of paper with a baseball on it. That's literally it. It's a piece of paper with a baseball on it, and that's your prize.
Man, that's sad. I'm sure that's something you could go on eBay, though, and find, like, people that are selling complete collections of Cracker Jack prizes.
I'm sure. Did you ever find an old wet porno in the woods?
What?
Isn't that the cliche that if, like, you live in a neighborhood with the woods, that you always find, like, an old wet porno there? You're telling me you never found an old wet porno in the woods?
No.
Not once?
I've never even heard of that being a thing.
Am I crazy? An old
so
wet
there's
porno?
like in the neighborhood, I'm supposed to assume there was some man who would get so horny he would have to flee to the woods to.
There would be there's like a old wet magazine.
No,
because I lived near a creek and I remember there were like ripped out like old porno pages that were just wet from rain.
But you grew up in California. I grew up in Ohio, so it might have been a little different.
It took porno longer to like make it.
Yeah,
make
it's
it
just
east.
Now getting there. So now if I go into the woods,
you'll find
there's a lot of fresh porno mags because people are still buying porno mags
in Ohio. They
and
are.
taking them to the woods.
Of course.
The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Well, maybe we should get into the history of Fisher-Price since we've taken such an unusual turn.
I would love to hear.
Let's see, Fisher-Price. So we've got this company. It starts out with Irving Price and Herman Fisher. This is 1930, so we're looking at, 93 years ago? I think I actually did that math right. That's pretty good. It also had Margaret Evans Price, Irving's wife, and a woman named Helen Shell is how I think you say her name. And Margaret Price was an artist and an illustrator, and Helen Shell was a manager of a toy store, and Irving Price went up to her and was like, listen, I'm starting this toy company. I want you to be a co-founder in it. She comes on board. So again, we have this company. You'll notice the name of the company is Fisher-Price. It's not Fisher-Price Shell. Shell's nowhere to be found in the name, but we have this company where I feel like we've come across this more often than not, researching some of these companies, that there's some strong women in the history of the company that don't seem to get acknowledged.
They've been lost to time.
They've been lost to time. But Margaret Price and Helen Shell were kind of responsible for getting together like the first batch of toys, which was like 16 toys made out of wood that they took to the New York Toy Fair. And people loved them. And a lot of the toys were pull toys at the time. I'm sure you've seen like the wooden duck that's on the string. They ended up doing like a phone that was, years down the road, I believe, that was a lot more popular, but a lot of pull toys. And it just did really well in its early days. People really responded to the toys a lot.
Have you ever been to a toy fair? It seems like a place you would like.
I haven't, but I would like to. No, I haven't. It does seem really cool, though, because my understanding is it's just everyone who's like come up with, some new thing that they're trying to get one of the big toy brands to buy.
That'd be great. When you go to like estate sales and stuff, do you look for toys still, or?
I look for Fisher.
Really?
I mean, I guess I just have a list of things that I'm not there to look for, but if I see it, more than likely I will buy it. I have found some great Fisher-Price stuff at estate sales. Stuff that, it sounds so dumb, that are hard to find, but I got so excited to find them for like the Main Street. There's a mailman, and he's got a little mail truck, and there's like 7 plastic letters, like 1 through 7, and each one of them on it says like where that piece of mail is going, like to the barbershop or wherever. And I came across those once in estate sale.
You have all 7?
I only have 6.
Oh,
I'm missing
God.
1. But to find those 6 was still, I know.
Get on eBay, honey. Set an
I
alert.
know. I could buy the 7th one for like $10 on eBay, but it's more fun just to have it on your list of things that you're looking for.
Yeah, the eBay feels like it kind of ruins the collector, I don't know, the thrill of the hunt, because you can just, it's so specific. You recently-ish got into coin collecting.
No, I'm not into coin collecting.
You recently-ish got into coin collecting.
No, I'm going to defend myself on that. Am I a coin collector? Technically, yes. Do I collect coins? I guess I do. But I'm not like a coin collector.
Oh, how so?
I have 2 sets of coins.
Okay.
I have, and then a bunch of random coins. I'm a coin. I didn't even know. I'm a coin. I have the folders that you put the coins in.
Babe, you're a coin collector. You were telling me they were sending you coins in the mail, and you had to send them back if you didn't want them.
Yeah, that happened. Because I don't know, though. I don't know that I'm a coin collector. Because so you tell me. The last set of coins that I got, I
collected?
No, I didn't. I didn't collect. So I did collect from whenever it was, 2000 to 2008 or whatever, we had those state quarters. And I came across a Snoopy folder that you could put them in. So over the years, if I found one, I'd stick it in there.
Everyone had dabbled in trying to collect the sticks.
I never looked for them, but if I came across them, and occasionally I would be like, oh, I forgot I have this book. Which ones am I missing? Let's see if I've got them here. Okay, so I finally got that done. Then they came out with another set that spanned many, many years. And I was like, I didn't collect them. I didn't look for them. I didn't have them. And then I saw on the back of a magazine that you could buy the whole set for $20. And I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. And then you could get the folder for it for $5. So I'm like, for $25, I can collect those those coins, but without collecting them. So where it gets a little sticky is when you do it through that company.
What's the name of the company?
Little-
like Coin
I think like-
Collector USA?
Coin lover, bears who collect coins. No, it's like Littleton Coin Collect. Maybe we'll do an episode on them since I'm a coin collector. But they do throw in a handful of other coins, which is kind of their trick, I think, to get you to become a coin collector. And then if you don't mail those back within like 14 days, they charge your credit card for them. And then it is like, you know, some people, like I was talking last week about my clothes, like you get lazy with returns. So I could see people sitting on those coins. I did not. But then there'll be like a brand new like Sacagawea dollar in there. And they're like, it's only $7 if you keep it. And I'm like, it's so shiny. And I never come across them this shiny. Maybe I'll keep it. But I didn't. So you tell me, am I a coin collector?
Do you have a coin collection?
Yeah.
Then you're a coin collector.
Well, I'll add coin collector to the list.
Hunts boy, coin collector.
Man, every episode we're just discovering something new about ourselves, aren't we? Maybe we should stay on track and get back to Fisher Price. So as I was saying, a lot of their toys, all their toys, I think, were made with wood in the early days, like 1930 for 10, 15 years. And then we had the war, and when all the men were coming back from the war, there was a real boom. Is that right? Boom in building houses. So wood became very scarce at that time. So Fisher Price
Not for 2 out of the 3 little pigs.
I'm gonna let that sit.
You can't ice me out on a podcast. People are going to think their phone broke.
And Alistair could just tighten it up, probably. Yes, the 2 of the little... Wait, no, was it? Listen, don't get me
Straw
confused.
and brick.
Right.
And wood sticks.
And wood. So, right. So one of them had to come up with something new. And maybe they did what Fisher Price did and turned to plastic, which at the time wasn't being used for a lot of toys. So now we have this company that's being very innovative, bringing plastic into the fold. I'm sure everyone was up in arms. Like, what are they doing? We like our toys to be made with ponderosa pine, which is what they used, and steel, because it lasts forever.
Wood.
My kids can't destroy it. And now you're going to throw this plastic at me? Well, I think we all know how that turned out.
So back then, toys were made of metal, wood, string,
The
like a
pulled
string,
toys, I feel like the pulled thing, I guess probably string or rope.
springs.
Yeah. Are we just going through
Buttons.
all this? Yep, buttons.
It's just crazy to imagine like a plasticless world, like that people lived in a plasticless world.
Did you ever have Tonka trucks?
Those are metal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those yellow
Quite
metal
heavy.
trucks. They're industrial.
Like the die cast. Yeah, I tried to get some metal toy trucks for my son, and it was very tricky. And even then, it's like a small part of it is metal and the rest is plastic. If you want like a full, because they're probably so heavy. I bet like babies were getting like so strong from picking up these heavy metal trucks.
Yeah, and I think kids are like getting cut and they get rusty and you probably get tetanus. It's a lot. And they're actually, I think, worth quite a bit if you can find original metal Tonka trucks.
You're a Tonka collector too?
I don't collect Tonkas. I don't. I have looked at them at estate sales, but I have not bought any, and I do not have one, so I don't have a Tonka truck collection.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not till you find a good bargain.
You know, Fisher Price went on to make hundreds of different toys, but I will say the toy that did resonate with most people was the Little People. I think there was some statistic at some point. They have sold over 2 billion of these Little People toys in over 60 different countries.
Wow.
They were literally everywhere. You could buy them individually, you buy them in homes. They were just everywhere. It was like, I think it, I shouldn't say I think, we're doing the show on it. In 2016, Little People was inducted into the National Toy Hall of Fame. They were just a huge deal. And then out of nowhere in 1990, a book came out about kids choking on toys. And on the cover of that book, they put a picture of Fisher Price's Little People.
Were kids choking on them?
Well, they were, but not... Listen, this is like the coin collector thing. It's like a yes, but. They were choking on them, but only after they had been taken apart. Like, they weren't choking on them as Fisher Price had given them out. And they're hard to take apart. So for a child to choke on it, it took some work. I don't know if the parents were taking them apart, they were getting smashed, and then you just have this head. But yes.
The head does seem chokeable. If anything, it looks like it could, like a kid would get it stuck up their butt.
I don't have kids. Is that something kids do?
Well, I tell this as a cautionary tale to my children is that when my husband David was a little boy, this is like a famous story in his family that he claims he sat on a marble and it went up his butt. Now you tell me how a marble goes up your butt by sitting on it. And this was like his family all accepted this as fact. They were like, yeah, he was in the bathtub with a marble and I guess he sat on it. And I'm like, he did not sit on it. He stuck it up his butt.
Yeah, it doesn't get vacuumed up.
Get vacuumed up. Like
He was exploring.
Yeah, he stuck a marble up his butt. And then I told his parents that. They were like, I guess maybe. And I'm like, he definitely did. And these, like, I'm seeing a little lady in a red dress looks perfect for sticking up a keister.
Good Lord. Like, that wouldn't even enter my mind.
That cowboy hat might be tricky.
See, no, listen, I don't want this to go blue, but I would probably pick the cowboy hat because at least it gives you a little stopper. Like, it's not got, like, you've got a little aid.
Well, I don't think they're thinking that far ahead, the kids who are sticking this up their butts.
Have I ever told you the story about my dad and the peanut?
Oh, yes. But you know.
On pod?
No, not on pod.
So my dad told us a story that he was in church one day, and I don't know why he had peanuts, and I could be getting part of this wrong, but at some point when he was a child, he got a peanut stuck up in his nose, but he could not get it out, and he didn't tell anybody, and the peanut was up there forever. And then in church, he blew his nose, and the peanut finally came out. I think this was weeks or months later, and it had sprouted. There was like little like growth on it.
God.
And that grossed us all out so much, but, and I'll ask him to verify.
We should call him and get him to tell this story live if it wasn't so late in Ohio right now.
So late in Ohio.
Oh, God, that is horrifying. Also, that generation that you could keep a secret of a peanut in your nose for that long.
I mean, I would keep that secret.
You would keep that secret, a peanut in your nose?
I would probably keep that secret now.
You would?
I think so.
Oh, fear of humiliation?
Yeah.
Remember when you took a bite out of our houseplant?
Oh.
Speaking of keeping secrets and shame, John was over. We were playing like a board game or something, and he was just clowning around doing his usual kind of jester material where
you had this huge plant. It was like
an elephant ear plant.
It was like a Jurassic Park plant. And I think that one of the leaves maybe had died or was getting cut off or something.
Yes. And you did a funny joke, which was hilarious, where you chomped on the plant.
Like one big solid bite out of it. And it made like a cartoon crunch.
The stem was like 3 inches in diameter. It was a gigantic stem. And you were chomping on it. We're all cracking up, having a great time.
And I think it was Alistair. It's like, John, don't do that. It could be poisonous. I was like, oh, Al, calm down. So I got the laughs I needed and put the leaf down and we continued our game. And as I'm sitting there, I'm like, my mouth feels a little weird. And I was like, oh, I need to use the restroom. And I went in the bathroom and my mouth it felt like I had swallowed needles. Like it was little pingy needles all over my mouth. And I got so panicked. And I'm like looking at my tongue in the mirror. I'm like putting water on it. And nothing is helping it. And I was more panicked about having to tell Alistair that he was right than what was going to happen to me. And I finally came out and I didn't tell you guys right away. Like I just sat there and I was like, oh my God, I'm like sweating. Like, what am I going to do? How's this going to play out? And I don't remember if I finally started to subside or I told you first, but I eventually told you.
You eventually spilled the beans and then we looked it up and it said that it is toxic to livestock and horses. They didn't even put a disclaimer that it's toxic to people because in what group of adults is somebody grabbing a houseplant and chomping on it for a joke? I do think if you got a peanut stuck in your nose, you would probably take that to your grave.
I probably would. All right, so people were choking on them. And so Fisher-Price had to address that situation. They ended up making the little people, they changed the design of it and made them just a solid molded piece of plastic. They made them a lot plumper. They just weren't as cute. And
way harder to stick up your butt.
Well, depending. And so a lot of kids thought they looked more like baby toys, and sales just kind of started to dwindle after that, and it just never got back to the heyday. So the 90s saw like a big dip in them until they are now, like a lot of companies, trying to bring it back. So now they're doing a lot of collector set, and it's still that kind of dumb. I don't want to be mean. I just don't love it as much. What am I worried about, Fisher-Price? I mean, John, you called us dumb? I'm sorry, Fisher. The heirs of Fisher Price and Helen Shell.
I think they're okay.
Yeah, they're fine. So they make these like collector sets, and it's like the Golden Girls set, or like the Metallica set, or the Cast of the Office set.
Very Funko Pop.
Very Funko Pop.
Barb from Stranger Things as a little person.
Now, okay, you do know I have a soft spot with Barb. So yeah, so they do Stranger Things. They do all these things that I just don't respond to, but that's kind of where Fisher Price is now, trying to stay hip like everybody else, doing licensing deals and those sorts of things, which I'm sure for a lot of collectors is great. A lot of people like that kind of stuff. So I'm happy that they're finding a way to stay relevant. It's just kind of no longer, something.
It's out of like the toy plaything space and more in the collector space.
Yeah, definitely.
Which a lot of things are these days.
Yeah, I think you might have to do that in order to keep the money flowing.
No kids are like playing with their like Funko Pop family.
No, it's all it's in that category of stuff that's like meant to stay in the box and just go on a shelf.
Simpsons action figures.
Yeah.
Well, you bought doubles of the Simpsons action figures. One to play with.
Yeah, that was years ago. Did we already go into that? We don't have to go into that again.
No, we haven't gone into that.
So, something that I thought we could do that might be fun is I'm going to play you some sounds from Fisher Price Toys or not.
Oh, okay, fun.
And you tell me if it is a Fisher Price toy or not. All right, so this is the first one.
Okay. Oh, my God. Sounds like someone being bludgeoned. Oh, I know what this is. This is the popping balls with the stick that you push.
It is.
This is a Fisher Price toy.
It is. It's their most successful toy, their longest running toy.
Yes,
in their portfolio.
I haven't had that, and my kids don't have that, but I do know that sound.
Okay, good. You did good on that one. All right, let's try.
Really.
All right, let's see. Is this a Fisher Price toy or not?
Oh my God, the cats got really alarmed by that. I think they thought it was a real cow. Okay. Is that like something you turn over and it moves? I don't think this is Fisher Price.
It's not Fisher Price.
Okay, what is it?
That is just a cow sound effect. But the reason I brought that up is because I had you may have had it too, the farm play set.
Yes.
And when you open the barn door, it made a moo sound. And in my head as an adult, that is the sound I heard as a child.
A standard American cow.
A standard American cow. This is what that moo sound actually sounds like.
Oh, God.
And I don't know if that's just from age. In my head, I was like, wow, they really go all out and made it sound just like a cow.
That is had you not heard a real cow at that point?
I hadn't heard that in a long time.
Is that why whenever we sing Old MacDonald, when it goes, Old MacDonald has a cow, E-I-E-I-O, and you go, and a poo, poo here, and a poo, poo there. I always wondered why you sing it like that.
Yeah, that is why. Because until this week,
you Googled cow sound.
All right, I have one more. So I'm going to play you two sounds, and you tell me which one is the Fisher Price. Now, these are really short snippets for this one.
Okay, I'm going to listen really, really hard.
Okay. That's one.
Okay.
And this is the second one.
Bit rattly. That's a long chime. Is the bell a schoolhouse?
The second one?
Yeah.
Let's hear the rest of it and see. This was just a Bjork song. That was just a Bjork song, so that wasn't a Fisher Price song or toy.
What was the first one?
Oh, well, let's find out.
Okay, let's find out. Okay, what is that? What is that rattling?
It's also a Bjork song.
Oh my God, you devil.
They were both Bjork songs.
You got me.
All right, so this is something that I never had and that I always wanted. I'm curious if you've ever heard of it. The PXL 2000.
PXL 2000.
Came out in 1987.
Was it a spaceship?
No.
What is it?
The PXL 2000 is one of the first video cameras made for children that Fisher Price made. And to use it,
What could that have even been?
you recorded on an audio cassette. So that's how they were able to keep
Okay.
it cheap. So it made like 11 minutes of footage. It was grainy. It was artsy. I think it had audio.
Wait, how can you record a video on a cassette
I don't
tape?
know. I don't know. I don't understand the logic
Isn't
behind
that weird? Wait, does Fisher Price make the little record player too with
They do.
with the plastic records?
it. Yep,
Okay, so
it had
yeah,
the
I
little
had.
bumps on it.
So that is another one of those instances of like weird 80s technology where somehow like it seems super antiquated because it's like doesn't have a plug or anything. But then I'm also like, what was this? Like, how did I have like a plastic record with bumps on it and then I put it in and a song plays?
As a kid.
Like,
Yeah.
what is happening? Like, even that, like, how do you record video on a cassette tape? This
I
is
don't
like
know.
NASA
I never
level
understood it.
technology.
I remember hearing about this and thinking that it was super cool. I've never been around one. I've never seen
God,
one.
what are those going for on eBay?
You know, this is one of those things that now has like a cult following. Apparently,
yeah.
there was only 400,000
Wow.
ever made. When they were first introduced to the market, they were like $180, which now would be
That is insane.
like $500 now. They ended up bringing the price down to like $100, but it's now sought out by like artists and collectors. There's like an annual film festival where you create films made from this thing. Richard Linklater used it in Slacker. There's like a 2-minute performance art thing and that he filmed with it. It's like this whole world.
Oh my gosh.
So I was curious if you had
No,
any
I've
connection
never,
to that at all.
I've never had one of those. I didn't even know that existed. I remember being like my mind big blown by like a Talk Boy. Remember
What's a-
Talk Boy
No.
from Home Alone?
No.
It was
Talk
like
Boy?
a cassette. There was Talk Boy and later Talk Girl, and this was a cassette recorder that would. Do you guys remember?
Oh, that's what he
remember-
used when he like would be like, you filthy animal.
You alter your voice.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's like a. Maybe this was in a Home Alone sequel. I can't remember. Yeah, Home Alone 2. The peanut gallery is chiming in with Home Alone 2. You record your voice and then you can modify your voice to make it sound either high pitched, low pitched, slow motion, whatever.
Yeah.
And
never
that was
had-
like that blew my mind. As a kid, you're like, what kind of like crimes could I commit if I get my hands on one of these? Like I can.
Was it one of
My
those
espionage.
things? Did you ever use one? Were they as cool as they were in your imagination?
I never even got my hands on one.
Well, when I was reading about the camcorder, what it made me think of when I was younger, when I was really young, my dad gave both of my brothers for Christmas, he gave them both motorcycles. And I was like,
What?
Yeah, like motorbikes.
For how old?
They were like probably in junior high school or the beginning of high school. They were young.
That's wild.
I know. It was crazy. And we were all like, what? Like it was one of those moments where like everyone ran down.
And you're a family of 5 kids.
Family of
This
5
feels
kids.
like a top dollar gift.
A top dollar gift for sure. And it was just them. I don't remember what we got that year. Like it was like we all run to the tree and there was literally in my head, they were in the living room, 2 motorbikes by the tree. And we're like, what is
Oh
going
my
on?
God. You can't
So-
single out 2 kids and give them motorbikes.
Well, I was always a little bit jealous of it. And then years later, when I was older, my dad, he knew that I loved movies and he knew that I wanted to work in the film industry. He got me a camcorder for a
yeah.
gift, which at the time was like,
course.
those were super expensive. And I thought it was so sweet.
And that's kind of beautiful because you are the artist of the family. It's like he sees you.
He
He's like,
saw
John,
me. He
you're
really
not
did.
like the other
he
boys.
wanted me to have that. But the camcorder he got me was compact VHS. And I don't know if you ever heard of that format. You probably haven't.
Wait, is that the tiny tape that goes in the bigger tape?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So-
all of our home movies were on that.
Were they really?
Yeah,
I knew
the tiny
no one
tape.
else that had compact VHS.
Yeah.
So like me being kind of a bratty kid, I was like, what is this trash?
You wanted a full VHS?
I just wanted a normal anything. I wanted it to be
yeah.
like a high 8 tape.
You have to have like a battery to access the compartment or else the whole thing is void.
Yeah, like what I didn't understand, like this was not the first time my dad had done this. Like when we were younger, he went out and got us a VCR and we were like, yes, whatever. Everyone was excited because at the time VCRs were exciting. So,
Hey, no shame in that. I remember.
but when he got
that
us our
long ago.
VCR, he bought us a beta VCR. And not only did he
Oh,
buy us a
God.
beta VCR, it had a corded remote control.
Oh,
I
bless his
never,
heart.
outside of my house, have seen anything that had a corded remote control. It was like a 50-foot cord.
That is true.
I always wanted to see my dad have these conversations with these salesmen who are like, "Oh,
God.
man, have I got you want a VCR
That's
for your family?
tragic
I have
to
the one for you.
imagine.
You want a camcorder? I got the one that you need."
He's like, listen, my son is 14. He's a vampire. He's an artist. He wants to make his own films. It's like, trust me.
Trust me.
This is the one he wants.
Your son has compact VHS written all over his little vampire ass. But those stories make me really love my dad so
That
much
is,
more.
yeah, that's really sweet.
There's something just so sweet about it. Both my parents really wanted us to have like the cool things.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
that's
they
nice.
saw you.
Yeah.
That's important for a child to feel seen.
Did you have any outstanding Christmas gifts? Or
I
was
got
there
a
ever-
magic set way too late, and I was really into it.
Like
I had
how
kind of
late?
like I think like 14 or 15.
Okay.
I think
Why
I
is that
had
too
kind
late?
of like a bit of a not eager to enter womanhood, stay a child. And,
That's what they were projecting?
No, this was my.
Oh, this was
me.
you.
Yeah.
So it made sense for you to get
It made sense for me.
Were you going through like, did you wear like, did you dress?
Did I dress as a
mannish?
magician?
No, what did you wear like a tuxedo?
I did go to school in a tuxedo and a top hat.
Okay.
I always had a bird and up my sleeve.
Right.
And I remember really getting excited to get this magic set on Christmas morning. And
Was it
there's-
one that's like kind of cool, or is it one that's really janky?
No, it's like the one that has like the 7-year-old boy on the cover with the fake thumb. You know what I mean?
What was the coolest trick in it?
I probably the fake thumb, the handkerchief into the fake thumb. And there's something really, I mean, just imagine a 14-year-old sitting her parents down to watch a magic show.
Okay.
Unironically, the scarves pulling out of the thing in your hand, the deck of cards, fumbling through tricks. It's just absolutely precious.
This actually happened.
Yeah,
this
of
was
course.
you doing.
Yeah, I loved.
Who was the
putting on a
audience? It
little
was
play.
both your parents
Both
and
my
your
parents,
sister,
a sullen sister. Yeah, I'm sure.
and you performed your show to thunderous applause, I assume.
Of course, always. Well, I've always felt really connected to magic, and I have this weird thing where every time I see a magic show, I get called up on stage.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, that happened to you
This has
in
happened to
Vegas.
me every time I've been to a magic. It happened to me as a child, as like a 12-year-old in Vegas. I got called up on stage. Lance Burton was the reigning king of magic in Vegas at that time. I got called up on stage, got to participate in a trick with a bird that got put in a cage, and then I got to like see that it was like not a real bird. It was like a little.
Isn't that
puppet
the
of a
worst
bird.
when you get called to do a magic thing and you see?
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm sacrificing my enjoyment, my wonder for all you people.
I don't know if I ever told you this. Did I ever tell you that I starred in a magic DVD?
No. What?
Yeah, like 12 years ago.
You didn't mention to me that you were starring in a magic
We
DVD?
weren't close when we first
Yeah,
started
that's definitely
hanging
something
out.
you want to not reveal to only your closest inner circle.
It was like literally like a weekend job for like 2 weekends. I did it to make money,
God.
but it was the same thing where I
have to
saw
see
how the
this.
trick worked.
Yeah.
Like I was supposed to be, the funniest thing about it is I was supposed to be like a married guy. So they gave me like a wedding ring to wear. So the magician like asked for my ring and does all this stuff. And then he's like, is this your ring?
Did you
And
go, boy, my wife would really get a kick out of this?
I didn't. But when he's like, is this your ring? And he pulled it up, I could tell that it wasn't the same ring that I had been wearing.
God.
And I was like, mwah, mwah.
That's so sad.
Just give me my $100. Do you have a favorite magic trick?
How do they unlink those damn rings?
Okay, that seems like a pretty easy one. What about the disappearing of the Statue of Liberty?
Oh, that's David Blaine.
No, that was David Copperfield.
David Copperfield. Oh, okay,
Wow.
well, I went up on stage with David Copperfield too.
Did you really?
Yes.
That's iconic.
I'm telling you, I can't stop. Every time I go to a magic show, I get called up on stage. David Copperfield in Vegas.
So I'm sorry, you went on stage with David Copperfield, but the first person you threw out was like Nate Buckins.
Well,
who
I guess
nobody's
I
heard
guess
of.
I was
You're
thinking
like, you're never gonna believe
chronologically.
it.
I think it was chronologically. So
okay.
it's been 2 in Vegas, and then I'm sure it's happened another time. David Copperfield did a weird thing where he walks through the audience before the show and makes eye contact with the people, as my husband says that he wants to sleep with. And then he was like, and for my next trick, you. And he pointed at me in the audience, and I like was shocked and, had to hold it together, went up on stage, and he wanted me to give him a kiss on the cheek. And I saw David in the audience going like, don't do it.
You actually looked at your husband?
Yeah. And he was
he's
going he was going, no.
How did
and he was doing
Copperfield-
like that finger, like
like
slicing
the
his neck.
slitting the throat. How did Copperfield do it? Did he like tap his cheek like
He
3
tapped
times?
his cheek 3 times, and I went, no.
I couldn't. And then you
I
look at your
couldn't.
husband who's fuming.
God, I can't. Did I do it? I think I did.
He's still mad about it.
Yeah, he's still really mad.
Yeah,
I
you
think I
did it. Well, isn't David Copperfield dead now? Oh, is he not?
No.
Oh,
Are you
well.
kidding? He's like 55.
You have a weird concept of age.
How old do you think he is?
I would say David Copperfield's pushing 78.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's not
You
hard to
are
find out.
so wrong.
You genuinely think he's 55
He's
years old. He was
definite-
55 when he kissed
He
you.
has jet black hair,
No one can do that. Let's
especially
see.
a magician.
A magician would never. Okay,
How
I
old?
have the answer. We're both wrong. Right in the middle, 66.
66. Okay, so that's older than I thought. younger than you thought.
You truly thought he was 55?
I mean, yeah.
That seems crazy.
I thought he started when he was in his 20s, and he's had a nice, long, illustrious career.
I wonder if when you kissed him, maybe he put a spell on you to see him as a younger man.
He might have.
That's the ultimate magic.
I might still be under the spell. I don't know. Hard to say.
I feel like I really didn't know your love of magic until tonight.
You know, it really only gets to come up at Vegas and at the Magic Castle.
Do you remember what my issue with the Magic Castle is?
What?
When I went there, and they have first, it's hard to get in. You have to be invited by a magician. It's this whole process. People love it. I'm one of those people that I just don't care. But I got invited, so I wore the nicest thing I could, which was like a sport coat.
By the way, this is like an elite magic.
It's an elite
Academy
magic thing.
venue restaurant.
And I don't have nice clothes, and I wore a sport coat and corduroys. 3 people had to inspect my pants before they would allow me into the building.
That
the
is
first
so
person was like,
absurd.
I don't think I can let you in.
That is
I was
so weird.
Because you're not allowed to wear denim.
Yeah.
So they couldn't decide if this was denim. Another person came. They said they weren't able to make this call. They get the manager to come out and feel my pants.
Were they eggplant? Eggplant colored?
Probably. I mean,
yeah, that feels dressy enough to me.
But this manager's like, I'm looking down, and this like old magician's rubbing my pants, trying to decide if
you're worthy of gracing their hallowed halls.
I was like, you know what? I don't even care.
Yeah, I agree. That I could do without that, and the food isn't great either. But close-up magic, it's pretty sensational.
There's some cool stuff.
Ball under the cup, which cup, stuff like that.
They have that ghost piano that you just tell it what you want it to play.
Yeah, there's fun stuff.
I said the Simpsons theme, and it did it.
It did it?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That was fun.
That's fun.
I mean, all you need is someone that knows a lot of music, really.
Like a ghost, though.
Like a ghost. Oh, there was one other thing that I thought was kind of silly that I wanted to tell you. Do you remember how you had mentioned the Fisher-Price barn? Mm-hmm. And I told you that when you opened the door, it mooed? Mm-hmm. Well, apparently, Fisher-Price at some point decided they no longer needed that, so they got rid of it.
Oh, wow.
Well, wow is right. That's what a lot of parents said. Wow, why would they do this? Fisher-Price described it as the fans having utter outrage. They couldn't believe that they would take this sound away from them that has been a part of their childhood and now their children's childhood. So they were forced to insert the moo back into the barn, which I think is the right choice.
I think that is the right choice.
You can't have a Fisher-Price barn without the moo. And you can't have a Fisher-Price xylophone without that. And
the theme song to Jell-O?
Yeah, that's the only thing I know how to play. I was trying to remember the NBC thing when we were in school. In like elementary school, for one day we had a big xylophone, and they
wheeled in a big xylophone for one day?
in the music class, and they taught us each how to play the NBC theme, which is really like 3 notes. It was like do do do, but I was so excited to learn how to do that.
Are those mallets rare? Because I have the xylophone and I don't have the mallet. The mallet, I feel like, has been gone for 30 years.
They are rare, and I did not think that this was going to come up in the pod.
But?
This isn't a real... I made this at a Tinker Toys. This isn't the real thing, but it looks great, doesn't it?
It looks great.
And that, you guys, is Fisher-Price.
Brand news. Hot off the presses.
You have something?
I do, and it's very relevant to your interests.
Oh, my interests. So let me see. I know what my actual interests are, but if you think it's relative to my interests...
coin collecting. 7-Eleven Slurpee is about to look very different.
Black?
What?
Is it going to be black?
No.
Well, they're known
black
because they're known for being so colorful. The only thing that I could think of that they would do that would be very different if it was black or clear.
Okay, the Slurpee itself is the same.
Oh, the cup.
The cup.
Ah.
So the Slurpee is a 57-year-old drink. They're changing the cup design. They had a 250,000-person panel of consultants on this cup design. And the new design, beginning Monday, is eccentric colors, electric vibes. It's neon. It's rainbow. The colors are the same, still red, blue, and Coke. So this I thought was interesting. 2/3 of the purchases at 7-Eleven are beverages.
Okay, I believe that. But here's what I don't understand. You said it took 200,000 people to
250,000
decide
people.
that the Slurpee cup should be bright colors.
It's quite psychedelic. They changed the S to like a swirly. It almost actually is a bit turd-like.
A bit what?
Turd-like.
Oh, okay.
Like it has like a
Oh.
swoosh with like a point on the top.
And it's black with a little swirl.
And it's black with a little swirl. It says Slurpee and kind of this bubble font. And it's very like rainbow psychedelic kind of 70s look. But for them, you know, it's a big deal. They're making over their cup. And as we know, you get free Slurpees on July 11th. I never see without a big gulp.
Okay, that's pretty new, though. That's only been in the last, since, it's a long story, but that's pretty new. That's within the last 6 months.
It's a long story that you drink big gulps?
Yeah.
How could this be a long story?
Longer than we have. We're trying to wrap this pod up. We're trying to keep things concise.
Honey, we have time for a long story about how you got into big gulps.
It's a boring long story. Listen, we'll get to it another time. I like your brand news. We'll take a picture of it. We'll put it on Instagram. We'll get people's feedback on it.
If you were one of the 250,000 consultants, feel free to weigh in.
Yes, please reach out to us. We would love to have a conversation with you. Well, thanks for sharing that. That was some very interesting brand news.
We do need a song. Brand news.
I really, really want a brand news theme. Little bump of music.
Jon, it's been so wonderful learning about Fisher-Price, as always, and learning a lot about you.
I hope you have taken away some knowledge of Fisher-Price.
And don't put them in your butt, for the love of God.
Definitely do not put them in your butt, especially the newer ones.
Review the show on iTunes. Tell your friends. Rate us. It means a lot. It tells us you enjoy the show. If you have any ideas for brands you would like us to talk about, feel free to send that to us as well. We love to hear from you guys.
Thank you.
The brand freaks.
The brand freaks. I still don't love it, but I feel like I'm going to have to at some point just resign myself. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Oh, do you want to surprise us with what next week's episode is going to be?
Next week is a huge, and I mean huge store.
Okay.
Huge in geography, in impact in our lives, huge in billions of dollars of revenue, perhaps one of the top 5 wealthiest families in all of America.
Wow. What is it?
Do you have a guess?
I was going to say huge. When you said huge, it made me think of IKEA, but we've already done that. Huge. No, I don't.
I'll give you a hint. Roll. God, what was the song in the commercial? Roll.
You need some music?
Roll back.
Walmart. Ooh, that's a good one.
Next week on Brand, we will be discussing all things Walmart.
Wow, I can't wait. Thanks for listening, guys.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Shopify's point of sale system helps you sell at every stage of your business. Need a fast and secure way to take payments in person? We've got you covered. How about card readers you can rely on anywhere you sell?
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yep, that too. Want one place to manage all your online and in-person sales? That's kind of our thing. Wherever you sell, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/listen. Shopify.com/listen.